Jayo Radhe Jayo Krishna Jayo Vrindavana Shri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Mohana
Jayo Radhe Jayo Krishna Jayo Vrindavana Shri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Mohana
Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Kalindi Jamuna Jayo Jayo Mahaban
Jayam Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Kalindi Jamuna Jayo Jayo Mahaman
Keshi Gata Bangshi Bata Gada Shakanana Jaha Sabhalila Koilo Sri Nanda Nanda
Desi Gata Vamsi Vata Gada Sakana Jaha Shabalila Kailo Srinanda Nanda
Sri Nanda Jasoda Jaya Jaya Gopadana Sri Damadi Jaya Jaya Dhenu Vatsagan
Srinanda Jasoda Jaya Jaya Gopalana Sridamadi Jaya Jaya Denu Vatsagan
Jaya Vrishabhanu Jaya Kitira Sundari Jaya Purnamasi Jaya Abhira Nagari
Jaya Vrishabhanu Jaya Kirtida Sundari Jaya Purnamasi Jaya Abhira Nagari
Jaya Jaya Gopishara Vrindavana Mat Jaya Jaya Krishna Shaka Batu Dijorat
Jaya Jaya Gopishwara Vrindavana Madhya
Hare Krishna, thank you all for joining. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणम्. So continuing to read from Sri Caitanya Mangala, March 21st, 2023. So leading up to the sannyas. So as we were discussing yesterday, externally, apparently, a Brahmana cursed Auranga because he was not allowed to take part in the Sankirtana at Srivas Angan. So he cursed him that he will not be able to enjoy family life. And Gauranga, he took that as a blessing and he said, this is wonderful. And then we heard yesterday how after that, one day Keshava Bharati, he came in his dream and he gave him a sannyas mantra. And then Mahaprabhu began, of course, he was chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra already and was going mad. Now he was also chanting the sannyas mantra, and his desire to take sannyas was getting fanned. And then Keshav Bharati personally, he came to Navadvip. Srivas Thakur entertained him, served him. Mahaprabhu met him And then he asked him, or he expressed his desire as to when, oh, when will the day be mine, when I'll also take sannyas. Yeah, Mahaprabhu's whole mood is that he needs to find Krishna. He will travel, he'll go to Vrindavan, and he will find Krishna. And the devotees, they come to know Murari Gupta, he comes to know Mukunda Datta, he comes to know. And so they are trying to pacify or request the Lord to not do that, how it will be devastating for everyone. Practically, we'll all die. The Navadvip Vasis are saying, the residents of Navadvip. So we read all that yesterday, the intense feelings and expression of them from both sides, the residents of Navadvip and in turn Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. He was expressing why he wants to take sannyas. And he was encouraging everyone to take shelter of Krishna. And in that way, we will all be together. Ultimately, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, or ye dhana yavana putra parijana. These are not our eternal shelters. We should take shelter of Krishna. Everyone should do that. I myself will do it. I will get Krishna and then I'll give him to you. Is his mood that he doesn't have Krishna, but he will go off to a far place and find Krishna, get Krishna, and then return and give them to Krishna, to all of them. So he's encouraging them to not lament. And so there is this tension, I guess, growing in Navadvip. It's going to happen. First, for a few days, Mahaprabhu, he relented. He said, okay, let's not talk about sannyas. But he could not sustain that. His desire to take sannyas again came up. And so there is a beautiful exchange, loving exchange between the residents of Navadvip and Mahaprabhu. So, chapter 11, before that, Gauranga smiled and embraced the devotees, manifesting his love. The Lord said, listen, everyone, don't doubt my words. Wherever I may travel, I will always stay with you as your shelter. Then Vishwampara bade farewell to the devotees and went to his home. So all this was happening in Chandrasekharacharya's home. Mukunda Datta was there, Murari Gupta was there. It was happening in someone else's home. And then now Vishwambara, he comes home. Chapter 11, the lamentation of Sachimata. Although Sachimata knew nothing of her son's plan to take sannyas, she felt trepidation within her heart because of Gauranga's abnormal behavior. Yeah, so he was not really showing much interest in his grihastha ashram. He had already stopped being a teacher, right? And we know all that. Some of you have heard Gauranga had the best school actually in Navadvip, and many students were enrolled. But after he returned from Gaya, he could no longer teach. Even when he was teaching Sanskrit, everything he was teaching was connecting, he was connecting everything with Krishna. And the students were a little bewildered. What's going on? What's happening? And they began to even, offend Vishwambara, Nimai Pandit, that he's gone crazy. And of course, there's one pastime where they offend him, and Gauranga or Vishwambara, he chases all the Brahmanas with a stick. Because one day Vishwambara was chanting the name of Gopi, Gopi, Gopi. And they say, what is this nonsense? Or why are you chanting Gopi's name? Where is it mentioned in the scriptures? We should chant Krishna's name like that. So they were offending Vishwambara. And Vishwambara, he began to run behind them with a stick in his hand. And so now the Brahmanas are thinking, what does he think? Who does he think he is? We are also Brahmanas. He cannot run like that behind us with a stick, threatening to hit us. So Gauranga, Vishwambara, he began to see that the people were offending him. And out of compassion, he thought, I actually have come to deliver all these people. But now by offending me, they are further implicating themselves. Earlier, they were bound by few ropes. By offending me, they are now being bound by millions of ropes. And he thought, if everyone respects a sannyasi, maybe I should take the sannyasa ashram. And because of the etiquette, they will naturally respect me and thus not commit offenses. So Mahaprabhu, in order to deliver those that were actually offending him, he considered to take sannyas. His devotees were fine. His devotees were already properly attached with him. But these people in general, they were offending Vishwambara. And to deliver them, he took sannyas. He decided to take sannyas. Okay, so that's the whole scene. Although Sachimata knew nothing of her son's plan to take sannyas, she felt trepidation within her heart because of Gauranga's abnormal behavior. Lochana Das wonders how one can give up Gauranga's association, which resembles an ocean of love. Sachimata begs Gauranga to remain a grihastha. So Gauranga is married to Vishnu Priya, second marriage. Gauranga Mahaprabhu himself is just 23, around 23 or so, 24. And Vishnu Priya is much younger, 14 or so. Somehow Sachi Devi learned about Gauranga's plan to leave home and take sannyas. Hearing the news, she became unconscious and fell flat on the earth. Sachi Devi ran madly here and there in Navadvip. She was asking everyone whether the news was true. Approaching Vishwambara, she sighed heavily and said, "You are my only son, the only eye in my body. If I lose you, I will be covered in darkness. Darling, I've heard that you plan to take sannyas. This makes me feel like the sky is crashing down on my head. I'll be left alone with no one. I have forgotten everything else except you. You're the jewel of my eyes. You're the lamp of our family. Everyone in Nadia says I'm fortunate to have you as my son. Don't crush this pride of mine. Everything will be destroyed if you leave. Those who previously had looked at me to get good fortune will now turn their faces away to avoid inauspiciousness. A son like you brings glory to the family. Without you, my life will become as empty and lonely as the forest. If you bring misfortune by giving me distress, I will give up my life by drowning in the Ganges. How will your soft feet endure the rocky roads? Who will feed you when you're hungry and thirsty? Your butter soft body will melt under the scorching rays of the sun. As your mother, how will I tolerate these distresses? Alas, my golden son, Nimai, leaving me, where will you go for shelter? While you're still here, I will take poison, so I won't have to hear that you have taken sannyas. Your taking sannyas and traveling abroad will throw me into the fire of death. You are kind to all living entities except me, for whom you show no compassion at all. I can't understand why Providence treats me so severely. My son, your beauty, qualities, and behavior are glorified throughout the three worlds. The wonderful beauty of your hair and dress enchants all women. My heart feels satisfied seeing the malati flowers decorating your long, beautiful hair scattered around your shoulders. Seeing you holding the Shastras in your hand and walking down the road along with your friends gives immense pleasure to my mind. My darling, how can you leave your associates and abandon the performance of Harinam Sankirtana? Your taking sannyas will kill everyone. First I'll die, then Vishnu Priya will die, and then all the devotees will perish with broken hearts. All the devotees such as Murari, Mukunda Datta, Srivas, Advaita Acharya, Haridas, Gadadhar, Narahari, Sri Raghunandan, Vasudev Ghosh, Vakreshwara Pandit, and Sri Rama will also die without seeing you. My darling son, please consider this and don't leave here to take sannyas. Son, you have no father. Although I got you married twice, you have no son. You are still a tender youth, and sannyas is not meant for a young man. Remain in family life and perform all the required duties. In youth, the influence of lust, anger, greed, and illusion are very strong. So, by taking sannyas at this time, how will you be successful in your vow of renunciation? If your mind is restless, you can't maintain the order of sannyas. Householders aren't responsible for their sinful thoughts, but a sannyasi will fall down if he can't conquer his mind and keep it pure. Now Vishwambara pacifies Sachimata. After listening to his mother, Vishwambara spoke comforting words to her. He said, Mother, please listen to the Nectarian story about how Dhruva Maharaj became a famous devotee by the mercy of his mother. You know why where this is going, right? By the mercy of his mother. Gauranga quoted a shloka. What good quality did the hunter have? This is Mrigari. What age did Dhruva have? Did Kachindra have any knowledge? Did Kubja possess bodily beauty? Did Sodama have vast riches? Did Vidura have a high birth? Did the king of the Yadus, Ugrasena, have valor? The Supreme Lord Madhava is conquered only by loving devotion, not by any material qualities. Gauranga tells the story of Dhruva Maharaj. Listen, mother. Now I'll tell you how the 5-year-old Dhruva attained most exalted position. Swayambhuva Manu, the mental son of Brahma, was powerful and formidable. His body was practically spiritual. His two sons, Priyavrata and Uttanapada, became great kings by the mercy of Lord Brahma. King Uttanapada had two wives, Suruchi and Suniti. Suruchi had 7 sons. One of them was called Uttama. Suniti, however, had only one son named Dhruva. Suruchi became the favorite queen of King Uttanapada. Neglected by her husband, Suniti had to act as Suruchi's maidservant. Suniti suffered so much in her lamentation that even stones would float and the oceans would dry up. Although a queen, Suniti was forced to eat unhusked rice and tasteless vegetables without salt. She and her 5-year-old son Dhruva endured many miseries. One day, the king sat on his jeweled throne enjoying with Suruchi, Uttama, and his 6 brothers. Dhruva, who was covered with dust from playing with his friends, tried to climb up on his father's throne too. But his 7 cousins, okay, Bhagavatam just talks about one, his 7 cousins pushed him down on the floor. His pride crushed, Dhruva began crying. His father, however, being controlled by his queen Suruchi, kept silent. Dhruva didn't understand that his mother Suniti was not favored by his father. Suruchi rebuked Dhruva. You're uselessly crying, being the son of a maidservant. You foolishly thought you could sit on the throne. Life after life, your mother has never served Lord Sri Krishna. Don't you feel ashamed about trying to sit on the king's throne? You are the son of an unfortunate non-devotee. How can you possibly sit on the throne? After listening to his stepmother, Dhruva cried and ran to his mother, Suniti. Dhruva said, Mother, my stepmother has beaten me up and pushed me off the throne. She said that he didn't serve Krishna. She told me I should feel ashamed to try and sit on the jeweled throne. Until now, I didn't know that you were her maid servant. This sounds strange to me. So he's, an innocent boy. He doesn't know his friends and enemies' business. Dhruva's mother cried as she said, Darling, I'm most unfortunate. Life after life, I never thought of serving Krishna. Although in reality, everyone is his servant. Don't cry if someone teases or criticizes you for being the son of a maid servant. Mother Suniti continued speaking comforting words to her son. She said, Dhruva, you are not the darling of your father. Therefore, you had trouble when you tried to climb the throne. Don't cry, Dhruva. Just listen to me. Your stepmother became fortunate because previously she had worshipped Lord Krishna. One who serves the lotus feet of Krishna can get everything he desires, anything he desires. What to speak of an insignificant throne? Now give up your false pride, worship Krishna, and easily you'll attain everything. So she's encouraging her son. So Gauranga Vishwambara is telling Sachi Mata the story of Dhruva's mother. Dhruva, because you're my son, you'll always hear sarcastic remarks from the people in general. So how will you ever enjoy the privilege of sitting on your father's lap? I'm unfortunate from my birth. After saying this, tears flooded Suniti's eyes. She continued, Listen, my son, only Lord Krishna can remove your misery. By serving Krishna, all the demigods like Brahma and others received exalted posts in the heavenly planets. If you worship Krishna, you'll be worshipped in the three worlds. What to speak of sitting on a throne? Dhruva, you can attain Krishna in Madhuvan, the 12 forests of Vrindavan. If you attain the throne, then you'll be worthy of your name, Dhruva, which means firmly determined. Taking the dust of his mother's feet upon his head, Dhruva decided to leave home at an auspicious moment. Seeing Dhruva absorbing his mind in the lotus feet of Krishna, the demigods cheered encouragingly. After fixing the goal of attaining love for Krishna within his heart, Dhruva left for the forest of Madhuvan. Although sweet fruits and fresh water were available, Dhruva didn't eat or drink anything along the way. He paid no attention to hunger or thirst. He was doggedly determined. Seeing this, the demigods now became disturbed. Oh, so the same demigods who were encouraging, they became disturbed, fearing what elevated post he would capture by his austerities. So people have difficulty when one performs devotional service. Others have difficulty. Their positions are challenged sometimes, or their whole worldview, their whole idea is challenged also. Even if we are not coveting their position, their worldview, their conceptions are challenged. So they are threatened. And so also they don't want us to practice devotional service so that they can continue their thing. And we should continue what they say. Seeing this, the demigods now became disturbed, fearing what elevated post he would capture by his austerities. Narada met Dhruva on the road and said, You are the son of a king. At your age, you should be playing and enjoying various games. Why are you harboring such anger within your mind? According to tradition, a young boy doesn't go to the forest. When you get old, you can serve Krishna. Dhruva said, Narada, what happens if I die in my youth? Hmm. Narada Muni was happy to see Dhruva's introspection. Then the sage gave Dhruva the 12-syllable mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Dhruva said, Narada, without serving Krishna, I've suffered so much. My stepmother's harsh words hurt me deeply. You are very kind. Seeing my unfortunate position, please remove my miseries and instruct me about Krishna. I've heard that by worshipping Krishna, I'll attain a supremely exalted post, unimaginable even by my fathers and ancestors. Narada said, Dhruva, go to Madhavan forest on the banks of the Yamuna in Vrindavan. Sit down, fixed in meditation, and constantly softly chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Within 7 days, okay, Bhagavatam 60 days. Within 7 days, you will attain 6 months, sorry. Within 7 days, you will attain realization. Dhruva became very happy to receive initiation from Narada. Anyway, he says within 7 days, you will attain realization. Not necessarily that Vishnu will come. Okay. Within 7 days, you will attain realization. Dhruva became so very happy to receive initiation from Narada. He paid obeisances to the great sage Narada and went to Vrindavan. 7 days later, Dhruva arrived in Madhuvan. Seeing the wish-fulfilling trees of Rajadham, Dhruva got free from ignorance. Dhruva felt ever-increasing bliss to be living in the beautiful forest of Madhuvan. He fasted the first day. The next day, he woke early, took bath in Yamuna, and started chanting the mantra, like Bhagavatam describes. Feeling neither hunger nor thirst, Dhruva shed tears of joy. After 5 or 7 days, he would eat one badari fruit. Otherwise, he would just take a few drops of water mixed with some turmeric leaves. So he's narrating this whole pastime. The demigods test Dhruva. Dhruva broke his fast after 1 month. He stood on one leg and folded his hands while chanting the 12 syllable mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Even in the scorching summer heat, he didn't stop his meditation. In winter, Dhruva stayed in the Yamuna. He tolerated much suffering during the rainy season. While continuously meditating on the Lord, Dhruva entered Samadhi. The demigods, afraid about losing their post, were astonished to see the severity of Dhruva's austerities. Brahma, Indra, Kuber, and Varuna discussed how Sri Krishna would help Dhruva take away their power. They planned to divert Dhruva from his rigorous penances. Brahma, Shiva, and others went to test Dhruva. One demigod shouted in Dhruva's ear, Dhruva, have you come here to die? Someone said, Dhruva, your father has died. Another demigod said, Dhruva, look, a poisonous snake is coming to bite and kill you. One said, Dhruva, your mother has died. One said, Dhruva, quickly run away from here. The raging forest is rapidly approaching and soon you'll be burned to death. Seeing the staunch Dhruva, resolute and unaffected, Indra mounted Airavata and attacked him. Failing to pierce the boy with his tusks, Airavata terrorized Dhruva by coiling him in his trunk. Dhruva stood undaunted. The demigod Vayu tried to swallow Dhruva by taking the form of a python. Surya became a tiger to drink Dhruva's blood. Binding him with snakes, he tried to throw Dhruva in a fire. Sounds like Prahalad. Chandra, the moon god, attempted to drown Dhruva in the Yamuna. For one who has chanted the names of Krishna, what harm can millions of snake bites do? Failing to break Dhruva's determined meditation, Brahma, Surya, and Indra and the other demigods ran away in disgust. Completely undisturbed, Dhruva continued his meditation, fixing his mind on the lotus feet of Lord Vasudeva. Lochana Das joyfully sings about the glorious pastimes of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. O Gauranga, you are the savior of the fallen, all glories to you. Mercifully liberates the lowest of the low. Lord Gauranga continued telling the Sachimata the pastimes of Dhruva Maharaj. Sachimata, while Dhruva maintained his meditation, Narada Muni paid a visit to Vaikuntha. With sweet music from his veena, Narada Muni was entertaining Vishnu, who was sitting on his throne with Lakshmi Devi. Smiling gently, Vishnu leaned over and said, Narada, why am I not enjoying your veena today? Narada replied, listen, my dear lotus-eyed, today your mind finds no pleasure in my music because you are thinking of one of your devotees. You are the Lord of the poor. Lord Vishnu said, who is that devotee who is remembering me? Narada Muni replied, Dhruva, the son of King Uttanapada. He is a saintly boy, but unfortunate since his mother, Suniti, is not loved by her husband. Dhruva's stepmother, Suruchi, was once sitting on the throne with King Uttanapada, playing with her 7 sons. Seeing the fun, Dhruva tried to climb upon the king's throne, but Suruchi pushed him down. Poor Dhruva fell to the floor crying. Being controlled by his wife, the king kept silent. Suruchi's actions and words burned Dhruva's heart. Although a tender boy, he left home and went to the forest of Madhuvan to perform intense tapasya. Lord Vishnu blesses Dhruva. The lotus-eyed Lord Vishnu, smiling slightly, spoke sweetly, Narada, I don't show my mercy to one who is not initiated. Hmm? Hmm. The lotus-eyed Lord Vishnu, smiling gently, spoke sweetly, Narada, I don't show my mercy to one who is not initiated, meaning I, I give myself through a guru. That's how you should understand it. Narada, I don't show my mercy to one who is not initiated, one who is my devotee. He is not my devotee, but one who is the devotee of my devotee. He gets my mercy. I also don't take offense from one who is not initiated. Okay. I will surely give my mercy to anyone who gives up his parents to go to Madhuvan and meditates upon me while performing severe austerities. Narada, a non-devotee can't take birth in the womb of a devotee. On my behalf, a Vaishnava can tolerate any difficulty. I will always give my mercy to a devotee. Therefore, I will give Dhruva whatever he wants. I am bound by the ropes of the prema bhakti of my devotees. I can never neglect a devotee who thinks of me. Narada said, My lord, Dhruva is initiated by me. So please show your mercy. Go see him and relieve him from the fire of material existence. So anyway, Brahmanda Brahmite, Purna Bhagyavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lata Bij. So as we understand, the Lord has given the devotee the power of attorney to give himself, give the Lord to the devotees. So Narada is saying, I have given him, so you please go and give yourself. So please show your mercy, go see him and relieve him from the fire of material existence. Lord Vishnu boarded Garuda and flew quickly to Madhuvan forest to see Dhruva. Smiling gently, the Lord said, Dhruva, my boy, I came from Vaikuntha to give you a boon. His meditation broken, Dhruva stood up happily with folded hands and said, Oh Lord, what boon should I ask for? Please give me your mercy. This will expand your fame and glory. Lord Vishnu said, I will definitely fulfill your desires and give you whatever position you want. Why have you come to Madhuvan? Is it because your stepmother kept you off the throne? If I don't award you a high position, how can I keep the title of the fulfiller of all desires, Varada Rishabha, or all desires? Yeah. Dhruva said, I consider a high position as insignificant as a blade of grass. Unless one becomes your devotee, all other achievements are as worthless as a heap of ashes. Lord Vishnu said, I'll give you all the jeweled thrones. You will achieve the topmost post in the three worlds. You, the son of Uttanapada, will become the king, and all your subjects will receive my favor. Your abode will be called Dhruva Loka, which will be located above all the planets of the sages. After saying this, Vishnu disappeared. On the Lord's order, Vishwakarma built Dhruva Loka. Upon receiving this boon, Dhruva started for home. King Uttanapada, greatly grieved in the absence of Dhruva, even his mean stepmother cried and worried about his well-being. The king said, I am causing distress and misfortune to my own son. Oh, when will I see my son again? He said to Dhruva's mother, Suniti, from now on, you will be my chief queen, and all my other queens will serve you. Overwhelmed by not seeing his son Dhruva, the king fell to the floor unconscious. That moment, the great sage Narada came to the palace. The king worshipped Narada with proper rituals. After washing Narada's feet, the king revealed his mind to the sage. The king said, I had a 5-year-old son, but he left home without telling me. Narada said, Your son Dhruva faced many difficulties in the forest. He has become a devotee of Krishna and will soon come home. Narada quoted a beautiful Sanskrit verse. Blessed are those ancestors whose family members become a pure devotee. Pure devotee purifies his entire family and the whole world. His home becomes famous throughout the world. Demigods and forefathers on the higher planets also become blessed. That mother whose son is a pure devotee is a real mother. Oh my God. But that mother who produces 100 non-devotee sons is no better than a pig. Narada continued, when one becomes a Vaishnava, he delivers his parents, family members, and other relatives. Your son worships Sri Krishna. Know for certain that your son Dhruva is the crest jewel of your dynasty. The king became extremely satisfied with Narada's talk. He ordered his servants to prepare an auspicious reception for Dhruva. They sprinkled sandalwood scented water on the streets and collected fragrant flowers, garlands, musk, kumkum, yogurt, and durba grass. The king and his royal entourage ran to welcome his son. He gave Dhruva a warm embrace, sat him on his lap, and kissed him again and again. King Uttanapada immediately enthroned Dhruva, turning over his kingdom to his son. Then the king retired to the forest. In a joyful mood, Dhruva ruled the kingdom for some time with power and valor. Dhruva maintained his subjects peacefully for 40 years. Then he took his mother and went to Dhruvaloka, the pole star, far above the abodes of most demigods. Hare Krishna. So he tells him the whole Dhruvaloka. Now she says, Vishwambara preaches and shows Krishna Sachimata. After hearing Vishwambara tell the story of Dhruva Maharaj, Sachimata said, "Oh, wonderful golden boy, I'll go with you too and spend my days discussing Krishna Katha. You will leave my home and shave your head. I will also cut off my hair, put on earrings, and wear the red cloth of a renunciate. In this way, as a yogini, I will go with you." Gauranga became perturbed to hear Sachimata speak like this. The omniscient Gauranga, the darling son of Sachi, thought of how to pacify his mother. Hare Krishna. Amazing. So we'll just pause there, 7:45. Okay. Any sharing, discussion, comments? So we are discussing Sanyas Leela Pratibha. You missed yesterday. Mataji. In case
It
you're
is
wondering.
amazing, Prabhuji, to hear the Dhruva Leela in Gaur Leela.
Yeah. Mahaprabhu, as we know, in Jagannath Puri, he used to discuss this with the devotees a lot. Leela, Prahalad Leela. Yeah. Anything else?
Yes, Prabhu, one thing I noticed that Narad Muni knows the art of basically what is happening, and Lord Vishnu himself was not knowing that. So that thing that the close associates of the Lord are more acquainted of Lord's condition rather than the Lord himself. So Narad Muni pointed out to Lord Vishnu that Dhruv Maharaj is meditating on you. That's why it's happening like this. So recently I was hearing ki, even some spiritual masters like Jayapataka Maharaj also trusts his close servants more than himself. So like that, he gives full power of attorney to his close associates to override his own decisions. Of course, like they can override, like spiritual masters can override when they feel like, but that is also there, that they are very close. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, well, it's a pastime. Of course, different rendition. Samachar is also comment, not contradicting what you're saying. Samachar is also comment that as soon as Dhruva left home, Lord Vishnu, he actually sends Narada. Anyway, Lord Vishnu is there as a super soul in everyone's heart. And Lord Vishnu, he indicates to Narada, we go to the palace or intercept Dhruva. He's going to Madhuvan, help him. Anyway, it's a team, as you're saying. It's a team. Brahmanda Brahmite, Kona Bhagyavan Jeev. And then, as you're saying, yeah, of course, then the Lord may forget about you or me. And the Vaishnava takes care. Hey, it's mystical. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu, this is amazing. Even the reaction of Sachimata is also very amazing. That she wants to discuss Krishna Katha and take renunciation immediately after hearing this. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's like the Ayodhya Vasis almost. Yeah. If you leave, we'll also go with you. Anything else?
Hare Krishna,
Ladhartu
Prabhuji.
yeah, is your wife also joining, Deepika? Mataji, is she hearing or she's just logged on?
Yes, Prabhuji. She's joining, like with doing her duties, morning duties. She's also joining.
Yeah, Pratibha Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. The class
Very
was amazing. I felt really so nice listening to the story. Though I didn't attend it yesterday, it was so beautiful and I didn't know like it was 7:45. I just wanted to keep hearing to what you were saying actually. And I also liked I suddenly got perplexed when it said like Krishna responds only to initiated devotees. And after that, immediately when you gave an explanation for that, then I was like, okay, all right. Otherwise, I was thinking, oh, I'm not initiated. Then how come? What about me? I was thinking.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Initiation, there is Diksha, of course. But we all have our Siksha Guru. Prabhupada is our Siksha Guru. And initiation, there is definitely an event, but it's not just an event. Yeah, the principle is, as I explained, one approaches Krishna through a devotee. One cannot approach Krishna directly. So if somebody is under the shelter of a devotee, whether initiated or not initiated, they are recipients, they are fit recipients of the mercy.
So, Prabhuji, in saying that, so there is a quote that you said, but when, well, when, see, I have a Shiksha Guru from Australia, since because I started my journey there in Australia. So I feel like she is my guru. So does it actually mean, even though I'm physically away from her, but mentally I'm always connected to her and emotionally. And I always like, if I get any doubts or any clarifications, I keep asking her. So does it mean that I'm under the shelter of a guru or I'm not under the shelter of a guru?
Yeah, well, that's a nice question. Guru Tattva is a big topic. Um, there are different levels of Guru. Yeah. First is the Vartama Pradarshaka Guru, one who initially shows the path. They say, well, this ISKCON people are nice. Somebody gives you a book, you start following, right? So in one sense, they show us the initial path. That's one level of Guru. Then there is the Siksha Guru, where, as you're saying, we take directions from them. And again, important thing is, although you mentioned, emotionally and all that, the essence of a guru is, to receive spiritual instructions. They are not just there to, pacify our emotions and so on and so forth. Yeah, all that is there. Devotee care it's a part of devotee care. But the essence, what a devotee gives is he gives Krishna. Because for example, some of the devotees, yeah, they may not be expert in emotionally caring for us and all that, which is okay. Their main thing is they're giving us Krishna. Okay. So there's Varsama Pradarshaka Guru, then there is Siksha Guru, and then there is Diksha Guru. Diksha Guru is one, Siksha Guru can be many. And typically, my Guru Maharaj, he prefers to use the word, counselor or mentor rather than a Shiksha Guru. The Sanskrit term is Shiksha Guru, because usually the term Guru it is not to be lightly used. Typically, Guru means one who is beyond the three modes of material nature. Anyway, if it is used in the absolute sense, of course we use it, lightly, and of course we should respect everyone like that, which is there is no harm. But at least from my perspective, or if somebody is calling me a Siksha Guru, I should be very careful that actually I'm not on the platform. Yeah, my spiritual master says, well, you see your counselor as sort of an elder brother. Father is the spiritual master and elder brother, who may have more years in Krishna consciousness than you. That. Yeah, so when you say you're taken shelter, yeah, and usually in some of the counselor systems, usually the spiritual master, he assigns the counselor, we follow. So the counselor also doesn't sort of drop out of the sky. So in that sense, the spiritual master is there behind. So we should see as devotees, we should see, because I've seen this in ISKCON many times. It happens a lot where the sort of the Siksha Guru or the counselor, he becomes sort of all in all, and people don't even see the spiritual master behind that counselor, and becomes a problem. And of course, there is a problem other way also, where they only see the spiritual master and they don't see the counselor. So we should see both properly. So this counselor that you're discussing about, sharing. So right behind the counselor, there is somebody, right? There's a guru, hopefully. So the goal of the counselor is to transparently connect one to a guru. They are not the guru themselves, but their goal is to connect one to Prabhupada, to a Diksha Guru, like that, like we do in ISKCON Disciple Course, right? So initially, Prabhupada is the Diksha Guru for everyone, all of ISKCON. And then at some point in time, Prabhupada has also instructed us to take shelter of a living Guru. So then we, whatever, and the Guru is sent by Krishna. It's not something that, we search. Yeah, there is both. It's not that I choose a Guru, it's mutual. Krishna also sends a Guru. And sometimes we may also have to, use discretion, things like that. So it depends. So you have taken shelter of this counselor, you're saying, and behind the counselor must have a Guru. So I don't know whether you approach the counselor, the Guru also, or not. So I don't know. Either way, Prabhupada is there and this counselor is there. And at some point, then, as I said, so initially Prabhupada is a Siksha Guru for everyone. And then one actually finds a living Guru, and then one approaches him, Guru Padashraya, other Guru Padashraya. So that is formally done. That will you accept me as your disciple? And then usually there's a testing period, the spiritual master and the disciple also. And then there is initiation, formal. So it's like engagement, and then there is marriage. So there is more commitment. So this initiation, definitely there is, one is formally connected to the Guru Parampara. You follow? So even if you see that word properly, I mean, if you see the sentence, yeah, so there is engagement, there's a relationship, and there is a marriage. So marriage means the commitment. So initiation, Diksha Kale Bhakta Kare Atma Samarpan. At the time of initiation, the devotee, he surrenders to Krishna, and Krishna considers him to be himself. So you formally get entrance into the Achyuta Gotra, Achyuta family. So I'm not minimizing initiation. So there's a formality you follow. There is a relationship which is formalized. So initiation is a formal commitment from both sides. Commitment is there even earlier from you and from your Siksha Guru and your Guru, right? It's not that the relationship is not there, it's there, but it's formalized.
Okay.
You follow? I
Yeah.
hope I didn't over-answer your question.
No, Prabhuji, thank you for answering it.
So
Actually.
you have to understand everything. You have to see things properly. We have to see the whole Guru Parampara. Behind our counselor, Siksha Guru, is the spiritual master. Behind him is Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta, Gaur Kishore, like that, all the way back to Krishna. And Upadeshamrita Prabhupada also writes that a Madhyamadhikari, he cannot he cannot take a person further all the way back home, back to Godhead. That Madhyamadikari should connect, aspiring person to an Uttamadikari Vaishnava. You follow?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
And then an Uttamadikari Vaishnava may tell a Madhyamadikari, okay, you serve these devotees. Under my direction, you serve these devotees. You take care of them. That is different.
Okay.
That's the consular system in brief. So the powerhouse is the spiritual master.
Yes, Prabhuji.
And we are just like a socket. The counselor is like a socket where he plugs in and he's serving spiritual master.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good. So that's good. Thank you. Anything else?
Prabhuji, you said that sometimes we also have to look for a spiritual master. So, if we are inspired from somebody, then how do we know that he is really our spiritual master?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's a digest written by His Holiness Romapad Maharaj. You can read. Maybe Satya can help you. In Inquiries into the Absolute. So people ask questions to Maharaj. There is a topic. If you go to the Inquiries into the Absolute, Romapad Maharaj, spiritual master. Select the topic. There are many questions on that. And then, as you're saying, so in one of the digests, there are multiple things. How does one evaluate? Especially in the ISKCON world, things can become confusing, right? Because there are so many spiritual masters that we have association of, and we get confused. I like this one also. I like this one also. I like that one also. Then what should I do? That. So then, so Maharaj talks about several things actually, so that it's not just based on the emotions and so on and so forth, what I like and what I don't like. So it should be done. So different things can be done. One is, just open your eyes. We should open our eyes and see where is the mercy of Krishna coming from into our life. You follow? The tree is there. There are different branches, stems are there. So just without being sentimental and all that, where is the mercy of Krishna coming into my life? Through which tree is it coming? Through which branch is it coming? Okay. So it is coming mainly through this branch. That's one indication. That cannot be discounted. Okay. Second thing is we should hear from them. We should serve their Vani. We should hear them, and we should see if we are inspired specifically by how they preach, how they, what is their focus on, etc. So we should hear them, not just sort of sentimentally. So we should dedicate ourselves significant time, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, hear from them. Third thing is we should associate with the disciples of that spiritual master who we are aspiring from. We should also look at that family. We may belong to that family, so we may look at them also, their qualities, either I can connect with them, etc. Then some specific services, if the spiritual master is involved in some projects, for example, some spiritual masters are involved in Varnashram project, for example, Devi Varnashram. So we have to also see whether what the way I want to serve Krishna and the way the spiritual master is serving Krishna, is there also a match? Can I fit in? And then there should be a mutual testing period. One should also spend some time in the association. Like His Holiness Sachinandan Maharaj, he doesn't, and many people are inspired by him all over the world. But he said no. He said, you have to come to Germany. You have to spend 6 months here with me at least before I initiate anyone. So some spiritual masters have some specific requests also. So we have to be ready to do that. So essentially evaluating with our eyes open and not just by externals. Or he sings nicely, he smiles, his smile is beautiful and this and that, like that. Those things may be there, but they are not the main criteria. He's a Western bodied person, he's an Indian body. There are a lot of things going on and it's gone like that. Based on, oh, I want an Indian guru, I want a Western guru, like that. Yeah, so you can read that. So obviously, for us to evaluate, then we have to have the apparatus to evaluate, right? It's like if I need to buy a diamond, I mean, I need to know what a diamond is, or I need to know someone who knows what a diamond is, and I trust him. So if we don't know, then you trust some of your friends, and you hear about the spiritual master from others. Mainly, but Vani is very important. Okay. And
Yes, Prabhuji.
and as I said, it requires a little bit of common sense. Common sense also. Of course, like when we were in Chicago initially, it was somehow simple. Meaning, of course, many spiritual masters would come, but Prabhupada Maharaj would come very often. Got a lot of association. And all the devotees, most of the devotees that were, taking care of us, or they were all disciples of Maharaj. Somehow it just happened like that. Of course, I knew some disciples of Sarat Bhakti Charu Maharaj and Radhanath Maharaj also. Our temple president was a disciple of Bhakti Charu Maharaj at that time. But anyway, it also depends. See, we were all young, newly married, and there were many young couples at that time. And they were all, so we were all sort of in the same boat. And we were all associating with Prabhupada Maharaj and his disciples. So that became clear. But especially when there is opportunity to associate with many, and then sometimes people get confused, and then it's an unfortunate thing. People just stay there without taking initiation for years and years and years because they don't know who to take initiation from. In one sense, anyone is good. Yeah, like it happened with Guru Maharaj also. Some devotees were part of our group, but then they were inspired to take initiation from Bhakti Charu Maharaj. Maybe language was a thing. Access is a problem. So you have to understand what is the criteria. So Maharaj mostly preaches in North America, so he comes only once or twice a year. So if one needs more association, then that or language. So some devotees took association. So took shelter of Bhakti Charu Maharaj. Maharaj said, fine, no problem. It's like two hands of the body, right hand, left hand. Doesn't matter. So anyway, so all these things are there.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. I was like having this question from a long time. Thank you for answering this.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, everyone. Hare Krishna.